here today to honor about 500 members of the Missoula Senior Service Corps. These senior volunteers do outstanding works in the Missoula community. In the year 2000, they did 115,000 hours of volunteerism. They work for Habitat for Humanity, the Food Bank, the Foster Grandparent Program, working with children in the schools. They tutor children in the schools. These are a dynamic group of senior citizens. They don't sit around in their rocking chairs waiting for life to pass them by. They are out there creating life and passing on their life's experiences. This is our annual event. This is our second time down at Caras Park. Today is Sunday in the park. It is sunny, it's beautiful. We're going to have some chicken and some food, and this is going to be a fantastic day.
Hi, I'm Den Morrison, and I'm a foster grandparent with the Missoula Aging Service. Very well worthwhile occupation, I think, for a retired old gent like me. I'm not used to doing these ad lib, but I hope it comes out all right. Several of the listeners may remember me as being a host to the Swing Shift on Sunday afternoons on KUFM, and also the Listener's Bookstore with Terry Conrad and Jermaine. And so I've been kind of active, and I've enjoyed Missoula. We moved here to see some cousins, fell in love with it, and stayed.
I'm Karma Gilligan. I volunteer with the police department and the Chamber of Commerce, along with several other places. And the reason I volunteer, because it expands my own interests. I meet new friends, and I want to give something back to the community.
Hi, my name is Lucas Zuckerman, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for the Missoula Police Department. Our program is called Volunteer Services, and we have about 25 volunteers in the police department currently. Of that 25, I'd say about 80% are senior volunteers, and we like to use senior volunteers for a variety of reasons. One of the biggest reasons is that we can't find that type of work ethic in about anybody else that we recruit. Senior citizens bring a quality of work to them that is absolutely unparalleled, at least so far as we've been able to find. We use volunteers in a variety of different capacities in the police department. We have volunteers restocking patrol cars, doing data entry on computers, clerical work. We have volunteers that work in the municipal court. We have volunteers that work in the city attorney's office. We have volunteers who fingerprint citizens in the police department, and the list goes on and on. And so we're happy to have seniors, and we feel that they bring again, a quality of work and a certain component that makes the Missoula Police Department a better atmosphere.
Get behind on my job here.
My name is Jack Wathen, and I am with Adult Protective Services, a volunteer with the Missoula Aging Services, RSVP, and the Police Department. And the reason I volunteer is because it is one of the most educational aspects of life to deal with some of the senior citizens and listen to their stories. And also, I hope when I get that age, there will be somebody around willing to take care of me, you know, and plus the fact that it keeps me young. That's about it.
I'm Danelda Nelson. I work for the Foster Grandparent Program, and stationed out at East Missoula at Mount Jumbo, where I have a wonderful bunch of kids to work with. They're a great joy. The reason I started working there was I'm retired, and I didn't want to just sit around the house. And those kids have made me feel just wonderful. And there's such a joy. You get a lot of hugs.
Hi, my name is Barbara Arnold. and I've worked with the RSVP program for probably 6 or 7 years now. I volunteer because I enjoy being in service to other people, but most of all, I volunteer because it makes me feel good. And I have my choice of many assignments, and they're incredible people to work with at Missoula Aging Services. So that's why I volunteer. Thanks.
My name is Lindy Adad, and I work with the Missoula Aging Service Diner program, and I've also volunteered with RSVP. And I enjoy being part of the community. The community's given me so much that I feel like this is a way for me to give back to the community. I enjoy the seniors that we've worked with, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I like RSVP because you can pick the different type of program you want to work with.
This is Bobby, and I'm Ernie Lucero, and we do a lot of volunteer work in the community. I'm primarily involved with the St. Patrick Hospital as a volunteer there. I work 1 day a week. I'm involved with the Missoula Children's Theater. I have been in several of the stage productions. I worked with the Montana Nature Conservancy, the International Wildlife Film Festival, and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Those are my primary things that I volunteer. And I volunteer mainly because I feel like I like to give something back to the community, and something that we're interested in, and things that we think are very worthwhile.
I don't do too much anymore, but I help him out now and then. Some of the things he does. Okay?
Great. Okay, I'm Catherine Shields, and I've been living in Missoula about 51 years, so I worked about 3 rounds in school, but this one here I really enjoy. As you get older, I enjoy young kids anyway. And so I like the first graders, and that's who I work with, because I believe if they get a good start in the first grade, they do it the rest of their school years. And I'm in Franklin School now, and I was at the Emma Dickinson School 5 years, and this is my 2nd year at Franklin. And that school is a good one, because as still as family oriented as when my husband and I had the 12th Street Grocery, 19 years, and my oldest boys went to Franklin. It's still the same way, and I sure enjoy it there. Everybody's friendly, everybody's nice, and I thank you.
Hi, I'm Jean Curtis. I'm County Commissioner in Missoula, and I'm here today to recognize all these great seniors who give of their time to others in the community. I've served as a volunteer in this community in lots of capacities, and the reason I volunteer is I just feel it's a way to give back to the community, you learn more about the community, and you meet great people.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are so excited that you're all here today for our annual recognition for the Missoula Senior Service Corps volunteers. Who all out there is a volunteer? Can you make some noise? I can't tell you how humbled I am to be standing here with you all. We have listened to you all for years tell us these are too long, they're too boring, too many people stand up here and yap at you. So we're on a race today. So I want you to watch your watches. We have dedicated to less than 30 minutes of people talking. All of those people who are talking are going to be telling you about what you actually got done this year. We're not going to be standing around handing out certificates. You're not going to have to stand in line. The only thing we're handing out are prizes. Lots and lots of prizes. So if we go over 30 minutes, it'll be because of the prizes. Now, if you'd like, we could just put the prizes away. Okay, so we maybe could be a couple minutes late. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. This is our 2nd year down here at the park, our Sunday in the park. Once again, we have Wade Muelhof with us, who is the anchor from KUCI-TV. Those of you who enjoyed him last year called us up and said we want him back, and he very graciously said he'd be here. So if you please welcome Wade Muelhof.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real honor to come back out here this year. This is one of the very first events I got to attend last year when I got here, and it really gave me a great perspective of what Missoula County is all about. And again, thank you for having me back. First thing we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about recognizing some of the people who came the furthest today, and that's Mary Lou and Arlene. They're both foster grandparents in Condon. So a big round of applause for them, and thanks for making the trip. Can you raise your hands or stand up for a second? Over there we go, back in the corner. Congratulations. Well, as you may know, the Missoula Senior Service Corps strives to match up the skills, energy, and creativity of senior volunteers with both nonprofit and public agencies, all in order to meet critical community needs that otherwise may go unmet because of staffing and budget constraints. Now, people aged 55 and older are the fastest growing segment of the country's population. And that's a fact that often tends to make people focus on services used by seniors, but we know that's not why we're here today. The Senior Service Corps focuses on services provided by yourselves. Now, the Senior Service Corps is comprised of 3 programs. That's the Foster Grandparents, Senior Companions, and the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, or RSVP. Today, we gather to honor the volunteers who really get things done here in Missoula County, and we want to acknowledge the outstanding members of the Missoula Senior Service Corps, Missoula Aging Services Senior Nutrition, and AIMS programs for their remarkable service and dedication to enhancing our community. So how about a big round of applause for all those agencies we just talked about, and for yourself. Of course, Missoula County is fortunate to have these exceptional volunteers to help meet the crucial needs of our community, like hunger, housing, health care, and safety issues. Now, our members are getting things done every day of the year. It's this commitment, dedication, and achievement of the highest caliber, so congratulations. All right, that's a lot of talking, so let's break that up a little bit. I think we're going to draw for our first prize. Have some fun here, and then we'll get on to more of the talking part. Well, first up, I'd like to introduce Linda Henderson, and she's the president of the Missoula Aging Services Governing Board.
Well, the applause today should be for all of you. Welcome, and thank you for coming, and this party's for you, and we've got a beautiful day to celebrate it in. A lot of people in Missoula talk about what a great city Missoula is to live in. You see it in the paper, you see it on TV, you hear our government officials talk about it. But what I want you to know is because of all of you that a lot of Missoula is what it is. We so appreciate the work that the volunteers, the senior volunteers do in Missoula County, in our schools, in our nonprofit organizations, and within our government agencies as well. A lot of what gets done because all of you volunteer your time every day, 365 days a year. So thank you, and I hope you're enjoying your picnic. We're going to go on here and talk a little bit about the RSVP program and what the RSVP volunteers, how they make a difference everywhere they go. The Missoula Food Bank director stated that when she was hired by the food bank a couple of years ago, she spent the first few months wondering why she'd been hired, because RSVP volunteers had it all under control. The effort of one single person can affect an entire organization. This is true of one RSVP member who has been volunteering with the Missoula Food Bank for the last 5.5 years. Giving 25 hours a month of her time, she stocks the shelves and repacks thousands of pounds of recovered perishable food each month that would otherwise go to waste. Through her dependability, hard work, and creativity, she has affected thousands of families in Missoula. Her contributions to the people of this community are an example of what it means to humbly give of oneself with personal integrity and respect for others. So, if it is true that one single person can affect an entire organization and that RSVP volunteers make a difference everywhere they go, what do you suppose happens when over 400 RSVP volunteers roll up their sleeves and get to work? Well, we're going to talk about those various areas that these volunteers work in. For those members serving in the areas of youth and education, 149 RSVP volunteers served 7,934 hours at Big Brothers and Sisters, Campfire Boys and Girls, Camp Make a Dream, Child Care Resources, Families First, YMCA, the University of Montana, elementary schools, high schools, and libraries. Would these RSVP members please stand up who contributed in these areas? Are any of you here that worked in the schools or with education? Great, thank you. For those RSVP members serving in the areas of basic human needs such as hunger, shelter, clothing, healthcare, and safety, we had 227 of these volunteers serve 16,968 hours at Missoula Manor, Habitat for Humanity, Poverello, Salvation Army, the YWCA, the Missoula Food Bank, Red Cross, American Cancer Society, St. Patrick and Community Hospitals, the March of Dimes, Northwest Lions Eye Bank, the Western Montana Radio Reading Services, First Night, Save Kids, and the Missoula Police Department. Would the RSVP members who participated in these programs please stand up? For those members who were serving at government agencies, there were 49 of you who volunteered 2,970 hours at the Missoula Bike Pedestrian Office, the Office of Public Works, the Finance Office, City Parks and Recreation, Animal Control, the Health Department, Clerk of Court, Lolo National Forest, Fish, Wildlife and Parks, U.S. Smoke Jumpers, and the U.S. Postal Service Santa Letter Project. Would these RSVP members please stand up? RSVP members who served in the areas of cultural heritage and the arts. There were 83 of you, and you served 2,184 hours at the Art Museum, Historical Museum at Fort Missoula, the International Choral Festival, the Jazz Fest, Missoula Cultural Council, and the Montana Natural History Center. Would these RSVP members please stand? RSVP members who served in the areas of community programs included 62 who volunteered 4,584 hours at places such as Clark Fork River Tech, Missoula Chamber of Commerce, the Humane Society, Opportunity Resources, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the United Way, and many other one-time projects. Would these members please stand? We also had RSVP members serving in the areas of senior independence. There were 331 RSVP members who served 22,330 hours at AARP, Meals on Wheels, Senior Nutrition Congregate Dining, Missoula Aging Services, Missoula Senior Service Corps, Missoula Senior Center, Evergreen, Hillside, Lolo Nutrition, the Ames Program, RSVP Deli, Missoula Manor, Riverside Healthcare, and Village Healthcare. Would these RSVP members please stand? I want to thank you all for coming. As you can see, you have contributed a lot, and we hope you can continue to contribute to making Missoula such a special place to live. Thank you again.
Well, unfortunately, we have to take a little break from the prizes and get back to talking about all the wonderful accomplishments so far in this past year. What we want to do now is bring up Doug Lawrence, the Missoula president of Mountain West Bank. Now, this is Mountain West Bank's second year as our presenting sponsor. Big hand for Doug.
Thank you, Wade. Again, we are happy and proud to sponsor this day of recognition. It is an honor for us to talk about foster grandparents and what got done with the program for 2000. Within Missoula County, the foster grandparents serves 14 schools in 7 school districts, 2 high schools, 2 Head Starts, and 4 preschool daycares. The school districts report that 20 to 40% of the students are reading at below grade level. Missoula Child Care Resources reports that there is an ongoing shortage of slots for infants in appropriate licensed daycare. High staff turnover contribute to a lack of bonding and continuity of care. A lower ratio of adults per child is a quality indicator. Missoula Head Start reports that for the 2000-2001, there was a 48% increase of children with developmental disabilities enrolled. This trend is expected to continue and may increase. This will require more one-on-one specialized care in all of the 12 classrooms. Missoula Head Start is expanding into 2 additional sites in 2001-2002, again increasing the need for additional consistent caring adults. Last year, 45 foster grandparents provided nearly 35,000 hours of service to over 400 children. Teachers report that the students have improved literacy, language, and social skills. And one of the most often reported extra is an increase in good manners. One of our grandfathers has ridden his motorcycle to school for over 17 years. Daily he leaves his helmet on the seat of the motorcycle. Not once in 17 years has the bike or the helmet been touched. What a tribute to just how much these special volunteers mean to our children. Would all foster grandparents please stand up?
Okay, we're going to move on now. And next up, we'd like to bring Gene Curtis, Missoula County Commissioner.
I'm pleased to be here today as we recognize a very important segment of our community, our seniors. You share with us your wisdom, your life experience, your smiles, and your time. At a time in your life when you could stay home and knit or play golf all day or sit around your jammies, or just sit back and say, you know, I've worked hard all my life and somebody else can do it, and rightfully so, you continue to give of yourselves, and we appreciate that. The Missoula Senior Service Corps Senior Companions. In Montana, the average cost for nursing home care is over $3,000 a month. Options are often limited for those who struggle to continue to stay independent. Many seniors could stay in their homes if they had some help, and you provide that helping hand. They need someone to help them get their groceries, to help them with transportation to appointments, someone closer to their generation to visit with, and a watchful eye to make sure that they don't need a little extra care. Last year in our community, over 200 seniors were fortunate to receive those services from 35 senior companions. Over 80% of the seniors that they served maintained their independence as a direct result of the over 30,000 volunteer hours of these senior companions. The Edgewood Vista, which is an Alzheimer's personal care home, states that having senior companions visit with their clients is extremely beneficial. The director said that they seem to sense when someone from the outside that's not there in their usual capacity of fixing meals and doing services for them, and as a result they're more willing to visit than they would with the normal staff. It's very important to have that outside stimulation that the staff cannot provide. Would all the senior companions please stand up? We'd like to thank thank you. You truly do make a difference in our community.
Well, I would have never guessed that that was a kite. That is a beautiful piece of artwork over there, and I hope to see it up in the air soon. I'm going to bring up one more person now, Eileen Sampson, and Eileen is the Director of Programs for Missoula Aging Services.
Thanks, Rick. It's great to be here to honor all of you today. One of my jobs that I enjoy most is getting to see the results of all the hard work that you do and the changed lives that result. It's amazing, I think, all of the contributions that you make. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the Meals on Wheels program. One of our older clients recently passed away, and his family called to personally thank Meals on Wheels for the caring service his father received from this agency and the volunteer drivers. The client was also a driver at one time during his life and spent many hours in service to the program. His children talked about what a purpose it gave to him, and at the time he had to take advantage of the program, he knew he'd also serve the program. So you've heard a lot of big numbers today, but more than 78,000 meals and nutritional supplements are delivered by volunteers every year in Missoula, which is just huge. The Meals on Wheels volunteer drivers drove 63,000 miles last year. To put that into a little bit of perspective, that means they could have driven around the world 3.7 times. So that's logging a lot of miles. The drivers that belong to RSVP served over 3,000 hours delivering meals, and we are now working with the Missoula Food Bank to distribute commodities to seniors in Missoula, and every month almost 300 seniors receive a food box also delivered by volunteer drivers. Would all those involved with Meals on Wheels and the commodity deliveries please stand up? Thank you all. Your work makes a difference every day. The Senior Diner Club is designed to help seniors stretch their food dollars, add social activities to their lives, and help meet their nutritional requirements. Seniors receive tickets redeemable at participating restaurants, cafeterias, etc. Using the tickets, seniors can enjoy getting out of the house and meeting friends for a meal. An average of 266 senior diners use the program every month, and almost a little over 20,000 meals were served through this program during this year. The number of those participating has grown by 100 in each of the past 2 years. In addition, each month the Diner Club delivers lunch to 2 of the retirement homes in our community where seniors are not able to get out and take advantage of the program. And the Diner Club finishes the month each month with a party complete with music, decorations, and lots of fun activities. So Diner members can use their coupons and have a great time together. Between 40 and 50 people join us each month, and 140 people for our Big Cabin Fever party every February. One of the Senior Diner program's great successes this past year was involvement of the Russian immigrant population. Most of these folks had not been able to go out to a restaurant before and truly appreciate it. Would all of those involved with the Senior Diner Club program please stand up? And I'm going to touch on one more program that helps seniors in our community, but before I do that, I really want to take just a couple minutes and have a round of appreciation for the driving forces behind today's event, the Missoula Senior Service Corps staff, Colleen, Baldwin, Vicki is over here in the red vest, Helen's around here somewhere, and Margaret. They really drove this event, and they're the reason it's such a success today. So, thank you very much. And also the other Missoula Aging Services staff members who helped out here and there. I also want to express my appreciation for coming out today and helping out. And they're too numerous to mention, so if you just want to wave, or stand up, we'll have a round of applause. Thank you very much. Finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the AIMS program, the Advocates in Medicare Savings. AIMS teaches seniors to understand Medicare and Medicaid, to protect themselves, recognize waste, fraud, and abuse, and to question discrepancies in their billing. In the past year, about 20 volunteers served over 800 hours educating seniors to become informed consumers. To tell you just how important this is to Medicare recipients, one recently widowed woman spoke of the difficulty of sorting through all the paperwork from insurance and other sources. She expressed her appreciation for the AIMS program and its dedicated volunteers, saying, "Thank goodness these people are there and willing to help those in trouble." A good example of someone who is always there and ready for some of the most challenging tasks that we throw his way is Dave Kester. I know I've been at a few early morning sessions with him, and he's really risen to the challenge, so thank you, Dave. Would all of those involved with AIMS please stand up? Thank you all very much. Are we having more prizes? All right.
All right, just about done here, but I want to take a minute to kind of put things in perspective. We just heard of all the different programs, all the different hours, all the numbers of people involved. Let's put some perspective on this. Nowadays, everybody wants to know what's the bottom line. So we're going to put some bottom line on this. The independent sector, a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization, came up with a formula. They represent, or it's a coalition of more than 700 nonprofit organizations nationwide. They place the current dollar value of a volunteer at $15.35 an hour. So that's the number we're using, $15.35 an hour. In the year 2000, Missoula Senior Service Corps members volunteered 115,000 hours. Put the dollar value on that, that turns out to be $1,700,000. $1.7 million, if you had to put a dollar value on it, is what you've done for this community. Looking at what got done this past year makes you wonder what the future has in store, and for that, Susan Kohler, Executive Director of Missoula Aging Services, is going to tell us about one of the most exciting pieces of Missoula Aging Services' future.
Thank you, Wade. Well, good afternoon. I'm Susan Kohler. I'm Executive Director of Aging Services. A lot of your faces are familiar to me. I try to get around to see everybody. I'm sorry if I missed you, and I hope I have an opportunity before you leave today. Since I'm kind of the tail end of the speaking, I know you're probably getting anxious and warm, and so I won't take too much of your time, but I can't help having a wonderful opportunity to talk about our new and latest project. And frankly, I've been at the agency for 18 years. This is probably the most exciting and challenging thing we've ever done. The effort of Missoula Aging Services is to create an environment where it's a great place to grow old in Missoula. And in doing that, you've all contributed in many ways in making that happen. We have a responsibility as an agency to do that. And what we've done is that we've tried to do it through program development, and we get that information from you all. And in fact, we're going to be starting this year on another 4-year plan, and you'll have the opportunity to share with us what your thoughts are about what's needed in this community to make it a great place to grow old and be supportive. And one of the things that we did several years ago was to advocate for a separate funding just for aging through county resources. And the voters overwhelmingly approved that opportunity that helped give more money towards some of the expanding program needs that we've had, especially like the Meals on Wheels program. But there's many more things that this community is asking for and that aging services is needed to help provide, and we decided that one of the best ways to do that is to get our own building. So we purchased the old River House, or the Assembly of God Church that many of you might be familiar with on Stevens Street. And if you drive by it, you'll see a nice big red and white sign that says Future Home of Missoula Aging Services. At this point, we've removed asbestos, so it's now a safe environment, and now we're going in and we're demolishing the internal part of the building and have significant renovations that we need to do, and we need your help. It's a partnership. Aging Services is probably one of the greatest organizations and partnerships that exist, and you are a part of that. We need to raise enough funds, basically about $123,000 between now and the end of December, to complete phase 1 of the project so that we can move from our existing location over to the new building. And then we have to raise more money to complete phase 2, which will actually give us carpeting, air conditioning, and other important things to make it a pleasant place to be. The question still is, so why are we doing this, and it costs so much money to get into it? What's the purpose of it? Well, if any of you have tried to get to Missoula Aging Services, do you think it's easy to get to us now? How many, raise your hand if you think it's easy to get to Aging Services. Good, you should all get a prize for that. It's lousy, yes. This will provide great parking opportunities, so that won't be an issue anymore. The other issue is that we will be available for caregivers and people who have need of information as you navigate through the long-term care system. We will have internet access for people to come and work with. We'll have a huge resource library that's been donated by Florence Bakke, who has been a long-standing RSVP member for years and actually paid for the development of our resource center. And we will have a new phone system which will allow for voicemail so people can call after hours, especially working adult children who want information, and they can leave their message and we can get back to them. And we currently don't have the capabilities of doing that kind of a thing. The most important part of it in terms of a business prospect is the fact that we can start controlling our costs, our overhead costs. When we get into this building and we raise the money that we know we will raise, we'll be able to control, which now we're in the midst of these escalating rent costs that we have no control over. We'll be able to finally control those space costs so that we can maximize that dollar into the necessary services that the community is asking for us to provide. So that's what the building campaign and building project, if you haven't been over here to the table, we've already raised about $880,000. That's not bad. And we just have a little more ways to go, 500,000, something like that. And I'm sure that if you pulled out your checkbooks today, we could cover that. But asking you to take a look at the building, get involved, you'll hear more about it. We've got a lot of businesses involved. We'll be kicking off formally our capital campaign the 1st of November, but there'll be a lot of activity between now and then towards the campaign. So it's an exciting project for us. I think it's going to really move the organization and the people we serve, and for all of you who serve the community, in a better position of doing what we do best. So then that, of course, is making this place a great place to grow old in. I got to get it straightened out for myself, so I really appreciate you helping me make it a great place to grow old for me. So thank you for coming today. If you want any more information about the project, we have it over here at the table. And I just want to thank you for everything that you do for this community. And I really hope the community knows about you and what you've done and what you'll continue to do. And enjoy this last summer day, because school starts tomorrow. Foster grandparents are back to work. And life, as summer as we've known it, is probably coming to a close for most of us. So thanks for joining that last day with us.
Susan, they bet me you couldn't do it in 3 minutes. Did anybody count? Was it close to 3 minutes?
That is a miracle!
It's definitely a miracle. It's time to wrap up our day. We've certainly enjoyed spending our time with you. We definitely would like to thank Wade Muelhof and KECI for their sponsorship today. Wade? Once again, we'd like to thank all the sponsors and those who've donated the door prizes. I think the door prizes almost outdid themselves this year. And if I could, I would like the Missoula Senior Service Corps Advisory Council Board members to stand up because they're the ones who walk the streets finding those prizes. You know, when people speak in front of you, they steal all your stuff. I'm supposed to tell the staff thank you. I think they already did that. I'm supposed to tell the Senior Service Corps thank you. I think they did that. I would like to encourage all of you to keep your eyes open. In the next year, Missoula Aging Services has committed to a once-a-month program on MCAT on issues of interest for seniors. And you're the first ones, guys. So I hope you smiled pretty when they looked at him. So if you give MCAT a hand, Mike. I think that's it. Thank you all, and please give yourselves one more round of applause.
Tweedledee,